Hey guys, this is Bandito Bane, the well-rounded nerd, the Super Spider-Man fan, and the Warhammer noob, and today I am going to be reviewing Justin D. Hill's Necromunda Terminal Overkill. Now, this Warhammer book is based off the Necromunda game, which is a similar to Kill Team, but it is gang on gang violence. You see, this takes place in an underhive city where gangs are running rampant. Crime is the only thing that pays. Just imagine Gotham without Batman, or better yet, imagine no no man's land Gotham and Batman isn't there. So you have different gangs. You have like House Escher, which is an all-women gang, or how or House Steelhand, which is a gang made of leagues of Votan who are stranded on Necromunda. You have Gene Stealer cults. You have Ogrins. You have mutants. You have uh, the Adeptus Arbites, who are trying to maintain whatever law is there in this torn world where the rich only come down to talk to the Empire while the poor are fighting to survive. Now, this tells the story of Brielle as she went from the daughter of one of the heads of the best gangs of the House of Escher to being a slave in the Underhive to being a hunter in a wild pack of mercenaries to forming her own gang and taking revenge on those that wronged her. Now, I'm going to go through the story and I'll, I'll tell you what are some of the big points and some of the best points and some of the parts that I wish were not so prevalent. And at the end of all this, I'll go through some of the characters, some of the story beats, and even even I will give my final verdict and tell you if this is a good book or if this isn't a good book. So let's get into it. So the story starts out with Brielle as she describes how things work in Necromunda, especially in the Underhive. She tells about her mother and her brother and the gang that her mother runs, the Wild Hydras. And this sets things off as her brother was never supposed to be born, or if he was born, he would never be a regular man. He would never grow up to be a regular man. He would most likely grow up to be a mutant of an Ogren. And this always put her mother at always worrying. Now, the thing the where the story kicks off when Brielle is 14 and a bounty hunter comes looking for her. And this is basically going through the through the hierarchy order when House Escher has been having problems with House Goliath, which is a gang of all Ogrins, and they want to be able to take over the contracts that they have with the upper hivers to escort them to the underhives where they could hunt for like mutant animals that they can't get up there. It's a very give and take kind of partnership. And this it reminds me of both Conan and Dune. Dune in the way that Paul Atreides loses his entire house, but he's taken in by the Fremen, and and he learns the way of the Fremen, and he becomes their leader, and he uses that to take over House Harkonnen, and also to defeat the Emperor. And it also reminds me of Conan the Barbarian, the 1980s version of with Arnold Schwarzenegger, in which Conan lost his entire family. He had he became a slave. He was a gladiator, and then he escaped, became a thief, became everything, and then he came back and killed Thulsa Doom. And that's what that's those comparisons basically paint this book very, very well. After the uprising, or the when the bounty hunter kills Brielle's mother, and the wild hydras are separated, Brielle goes to the Underhives, where she's found by a old this old grimy dude who takes her and makes her a slave to a woman who he loves, and he keeps saying that she works for some guy that she doesn't even know. She was able to escape, kill her master, and even the woman, but she let her die a slow death. And she even she went she went deeper into the other hives and found a hunting group, which was led by a mutant psyker who controlled spiders. Brielle then learned of the House Goliath, kept trying to go deeper and deeper into the Underhive, and she decided to go back to West District. And on her way there, while she was going through the Underhive, she escaped. She enters a tomb of a former commissar. And this also reminded me of Conan the Barbarian, because here she finds a power sword. And a power sword is kind of like a sword, but it's infused with plasma. You put in the switch on the power cell, and it glows blue. And she uses that as one of her main weapons, including the ivory handled las pistol that her mother gave her. And this basically sets off the main part of the story of how she goes back to West District, how she starts her own gang, and how she gets revenge on House Goliath, even becoming the head of House Escher itself. And this is actually a good part of the story, in which you could these are actually good points of the story, which I really love. But I'll go into the characters right now. Now, the only characters we seem to be accustomed to is Brielle herself. Now, this isn't a bad thing, because we are basically going through her journey, her her strife, her struggles, as she goes through this epic hero's journey through the darkest of the dark, in a quest for revenge against Fettnir, the head of House Goliath, and the bounty hunter who killed her mother. And this actually isn't a bad thing, because the 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 characters are what they are, and when we meet them at one point of the book, then we leave them at another point, and they are never seen again. The only one that is a reoccurring character would have to be the Astra Mechanicus, who is who is basically the doctor of the Underhive, and he basically meets Brielle throughout her journey. He has known her since she was a girl. He met her, he saw her when she was a slave. He took her to the hunters of the Underhive, and then he even helped her when she was in a near-death injury. So, but Brielle is a very, very stoic, very hard-ass character, and this isn't one of those tropes of the strong female type that she needs no man. She will actually gladly take help from other people. We see that when she's trying to escape the hunters, she gets a fellow slave to help her escape. She even gets other women, other people to help take over House Goliath and end it, and she even becomes an even better person from accepting help from other people. But she sometimes just doesn't trust them because there is a twist ending, and I am not going to spoil it here. But the main focus on the characters would have to be Brielle, and she is a very well written character, and she doesn't disappoint. The final verdict I will give Necomunda Terminal Overkill. I am going to give this book an 8 out of 10. It is a very well told story of revenge, of strife, of suffrage, and this is just excellent work, especially with someone who is known in the Necomunda, not known in the world of Necromunda. This basically tells everything that happens in the darkest places of the Underhive, and I think Warhammer fans will get a kick out of this. Especially, there are some jokes where Brielle thinks that the Emperor of Mankind is actually a woman, and it goes around like that joke where some people actually think God is a woman, but there are some funny moments, there are some brutal moments, but it mainly has Brielle going John Wick on the Ogrins of House Goliath, and her becoming head of House Escher. And this is a very beautifully told story, even if it's grimdark. So I recommend picking this up either through Black Library or Amazon Kindle, or even Audible. It is a good book, so give it a good read. So that does it for today. This has been Bandito Bane, the well-rounded nerd, the Super Spider-Man fan, and the Warhammer noob. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, keep playing, and God bless.